Hello and welcome to Business Today Television. I am Siddharth Zarabi and with me today a very special guest, the Union Minister for Communications, Electronics, Information Technology and Railways, Mr. Ashwini Vaishnaw. Mr. Vaishnaw, pleasure to have you on the show after what the Prime Minister Modi described in a tweet as a watershed moment for telecom, and thank you very much for taking this time out, because the whole intent is to explain this in as much simple language as possible for a wide audience, or what is the true import. And I want to begin by asking you, describe this entire set of reforms, the procedural reforms, the structural reforms, in terms of what it means for the Aam Aadmi, who's been tied to his handsets even during the pandemic period.
Thank you. Prime Minister's vision for the telecom sector is very clear vision. It's a big vision. Modi ji wants that telecom service, digital services should reach to the last person in the queue. We are Antyodaya Sarkar.
Yes.
His vision is of Antyodaya. The marginalized sections, the areas which are still uncovered, unconnected areas, the forested areas, the areas in which हमारे आदिवासी भाई जहाँ पे रहते हैं,
Right.
those areas. So how would telecom services reach those areas? It would reach only when the sector is healthy. एक बीमार शरीर से तो आप तेज नहीं दौड़ सकते, तो आपको शरीर को आपको सुधारना पड़ेगा. So he asked us that find out what are the root causes, what is the malaise in this sector. So that's how the entire team worked. We identified the root causes and we took it to him, and a very bold Prime Minister we have. He said that yes, even though these things have been litigated for many years, लेकिन ये देश के हित में है, ये करना है. So that's how he approved the entire package, and that's where we stand.
Since you spoke about Bimar Sharir and root causes, for our audience, what are the 2 or 3 root causes that have been dealt with the medicine that has been administered yesterday?
In this sector, one of the key issue has been AGR. AGR is basically adjusted gross revenue, and if you explain in very simple terms, किसी भी कंपनी का जितना रेवेन्यू होता है, जितनी उसकी इनकम होती है, उसका एक हिस्सा सरकार को दिया जाता है. A percentage of that is given to government as a license fee, as SUC. So all these payments were basically litigated for a very long period, actually for 2 decades. What was the root cause of litigation? Root cause of litigation was the definition of AGR. What was the definition of AGR? Definition of AGR was basically the entire revenue of a company, whether it is a telecom related revenue or any other revenue. For example, Gas Authority of India Limited, gas pipeline बनाती है, उसका काम है गैस ट्रांसपोर्टेशन करना. टेलीकॉम उसके लिए केवल एक कॉस्ट एलिमेंट है, केवल उसको एक गैस की ट्रांसपोर्टेशन को ठीक करने के लिए उसके लिए आपको स्पेक्ट्रम चाहिए, टेलीकॉम सर्विसेज चाहिए कि यहाँ
GAIL does not do separate commercial telecom
उनका
service.
कमर्शियल, वो तो कोई सर्विस प्रोवाइड नहीं करते हैं कि मोबाइल सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं. तो उनके ऊपर भी कई हजार करोड़ का इस डेफिनेशन के कारण इम्पैक्ट आ जाता था. तो इस डेफिनेशन को सॉल्व करना बहुत ज़रूरी था. दैट्स व्हाट ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर टुक अ वेरी बोल्ड डिसीजन, एंड he decided that no, we have to, from now on, the definition has to be a rationalized definition. पहला. दूसरा, इसमें because of historical reasons, license की terms and conditions में ऐसा था, every month we had to compound the interest, right? Monthly compounding is not something which is done in the banking industry anywhere, right? So that thing has been rationalized. Then there were very odd things like even when spectrum is shared, then the cost to the people who are sharing has increased, and these are all historical legacy issues running for many years. Whereas what spectrum is a very scarce resource, so if we are sharing it, it's good for the country, it's good for the nation. So we should reduce the cost rather than increasing the cost.
Would I be right in saying that in terms of this new deal for telecom in 2021, it harks back to the Vajpayee era in some ways, a BJP era, where things like the new telecom policy of 1999, calling party pays which made incoming free in 2003, those were epochal. And I remember as a reporter, as a consequence, telecom industry grew, and that has had so many benefits. And then we saw a different era Do you think I would be right in saying that 2021 therefore marks a new beginning for affordability and availability?
Absolutely, and that is what Prime Minister's vision is, affordability and availability. You have seen after Modi ji took over the charge of the country, he started leading the country, voice became free. So voice becoming free has been such a great boon for the consumers. Imagine throughout the country, we have seen during the COVID period, this sector, the people who manage this sector, especially the people at the bottom of, employees at the bottom of the pyramid, the linemen, the tower operators, the technicians, the call center boys and girls,
who kept everything running.
So in fact, Prime Minister applauded their work and he asked me to say that please convey this message to the entire country and लोगों को सबको बताओ
That's a very noble gesture.
किस तरह के कोरोना वॉरियर्स ने देश को टेलीकॉम सेक्टर में देश को उस वक्त एकदम बना के रखा, टेलीकॉम सर्विसेज को बनाए रखा.
Let's now come to another point, and this is to do with easier tower installation, and I'm trying to keep it very simple, non-technical jargon. What has been done on towers? Because towers work in two ways, sir.
Correct.
One, the tower is my signal. Without it, I feel cut out from the world. The other bit is that tower is also a source of income. It is rental income for those people on whose structures those towers are installed. But towers are not a central subject. Let me explain it to the viewers also. There are municipal levies. The right of way is by municipalities. How will this decision work? Because there are some people who are saying towers to municipal level पे है, गांव देहात शहर के rules हैं. How will that work? Please explain that.
बहुत अच्छा प्रश्न है आपका. See, tower approval for setting up a tower has two technical elements, and then there are of course municipal elements. The technical elements are that there shouldn't be any interference anywhere. Second is it should not, it's a tall thing, so it should not interfere with any civil aviation stuff, right? Whether it is a defense installation, whether it's a civilian installation. So those are the things for which the tower infrastructure people, they had to kind of, it used to take a lot of time. So what we have done now is procedurally we have said that fine, you make a self declaration as to where you are setting up the tower. We already have the database of which are the other towers which are installed.
Absolutely.
So we can easily simulate, पता कर सकते हैं कि कहाँ पे interference हो रहा है, कहाँ पे interference नहीं हो रहा है.
Absolutely.
So that kind of thing is now possible using the digital tools. So we are integrating the different portals wherever the data is there, and with that and self declaration, tower permission should become almost like automatic. मैं अभी जितने भी एरियाज़ में प्रवास किया, सब जगह लोगों का यही था कि हमको टावर चाहिए. In fact, even in the poorest of the poor families, people say कि दाल चावल है, मोदी जी ने भेजा है दाल चावल, लेकिन अब टावर भी चाहिए. So that kind of thought process is there. तो प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब का जो विजन है कि हर जगह यूनिवर्सल इंटरनेट एक्सेस पहुँचे, उस सब में टावर का सिंप्लीफिकेशन ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एलिमेंट है.
Therefore, the second question, center has done. You yourself have taken over the ministry recently, and not just one, two very crucial ministries, and so you've been full time on it. What would you say to the state governments, to the municipal authorities? Is there something that they also need to do, ensure that the telecom revolution reaches everyone? It's not about politics. Everyone uses a phone.
मेरा रिक्वेस्ट है सारे के सारे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट से, म्यूनिसिपल गवर्नमेंट से, कॉरपोरेटर्स से, मेयर्स से कि जहाँ पर भी टेलीकॉम के इंस्टॉलेशन के लिए हेल्प चाहिए वहाँ पे प्लीज़ आप हेल्प कीजिए, ओपन माइंड से हेल्प कीजिए. हमारे बच्चों का भविष्य उस पर निर्भर करता है.
One of the things that also came out during the pandemic, and you said this, which was very unique in the cabinet briefing, where you asked people to applaud the workers, and I completely supplement that. We saw that the availability of networks became a huge issue, especially for our students. There was a time people would say mobile लड़कियों को नहीं देना, इस उम्र से नीचे नहीं देना. Now it became essential for survival, for studies. Given the network issues that have come out, Ashwani ji, do you think that with the steps that you have taken, a year down the line, 2 years down the line, availability will improve?
I'll explain how it will improve.
Sure.
There is a logic behind it. Telecom industry is highly capital intensive. टेक्नोलॉजी कितनी तेज़ी से चेंज हो रही है. पहले 2G था, 3G, 4G, 5G, बहुत जल्दी 6G, 7G की बातें होंगी. एंड द वे थिंग्स आर चेंजिंग, anybody who is providing telecom service has to continuously invest. continuously invest. So investment requires free cash flows. So this whole package of reforms, 9 structural and 5 process reforms, these reforms also free up lots and lots of financial burden which was there, unnecessary financial burden. So with this, the telcos will be able to invest in technology. Pipeline of data comes through fibers. Fiber installation requires heavy investment. So in India, our fiberization of towers is close to about, in some cases about 60%, in other cases close to 30-35% in case of some other telecom service providers. Until and unless we have that investment, how will people get the bandwidth? So the whole reform package is aimed at making sure, as I said in the beginning, making sure that the sector becomes healthy. शरीर अगर मजबूत रहेगा तो दौड़ने में सुविधा रहेगी. That's the thought process with which we are.
Since you give us that example, I am going to try and take it a little forward. दौड़ लगा दी, at the end of it, price क्या मिलेगा for the consumer? And I am asking you this from the point of view of tariffs. I personally believe that people would pay and perhaps pay more for uninterrupted service, good high-speed bandwidth. Do you have a view on tariffs and how that can change? The reason I ask you, I must also clarify, is that there are two sides to the argument. One, very clearly for industry health, something has to happen. You can't keep investing and virtually offering services at zero. But on the other hand, the telecom consumer will say, I must get it as affordable as possible. Where do you stand on the issue?
I think it's a function of demand and supply. Ultimately, telecom service providers and we as consumers, now I am not talking as minister,
No, of course, as a consumer.
As a customer, the decision has to be taken between the two. Who provides better service? Who provides uninterrupted data? Who provides best possible connectivity throughout the country? What is the cost of that? Those are the factors which will decide. We from the government would never interfere in any tariff decision.
Do you support the idea or need for a floor price?
I don't think that's a very fair ask from anybody, because end of the day, the market has to decide based on demand and supply.
You are an administrator who started at the district level and you have had a very wide span of experiences. I want to turn your attention towards rural India and one very important initiative that the first Modi government also speeded up, which is the left-wing extremism networks. One of the questions, and I have to ask you this, is what about Bharat Sanchar? Because you also have, like Air India, Bharat Sanchar, which is a very important, I would say to some extent was a strategic entity.
Bharat Sanchar has a very important and strategic role. In a marketplace, a PSU is a very stabilizing factor. A public sector unit is a very stabilizing factor. That is first. Second, there are areas where the market forces will try to ignore. Those areas have to be covered by a government entity. So we are doing everything possible, and Prime Minister Modi ji approved a very generous VRS package for the employees that has significantly improved the health of BSNL. And now as we transition from 2G to 4G services, again the BSNL balance sheet will improve. So we are doing everything for ensuring that BSNL stays as a healthy participant in the telecom industry.
Along with BSNL, how many private operators do you think would be optimal for a market like India from a consumer availability, tariff, the entire matrix, the economics of it?
More the merrier.
More the merrier?
Market should decide.
Okay. Let's now turn to one more important decision, which is the moratorium that has been given a 4-year period. If you could explain, and I will request you to, I'll leave that choice to you, why just 4 years, for example? Why not 6 or 7 or not 3? What is the logic behind 4 years? There must be some calculation.
It's a very well thought out decision. It's not something which is random. It's a very well thought through. See, the constraints that we have. First, the boundaries that are set by the Supreme Court judgment.
Absolutely.
That's a 10-year period which has to be followed, right? No reassessment of the past. Anything which has been assessed in the past, we cannot reopen that. These are the boundaries set by the Supreme Court judgment. what is the industry asking for? Third, how do we protect government revenue? So, considering, and fourth, what is the 5G capex required? So, considering all these things, we found that a 3 to 4 year period is a period in which the 5G capex cycle can be significantly mitigated, amortized,
Okay.
and that is the period that we thought we should take. And we also considered कि कभी भी घर से बाहर निकलते हैं तो जेब में 100 रुपये एक्स्ट्रा लेके निकलना चाहिए, so that you are at least so that's why the government and the cabinet took a very careful decision that in case there is any major issue beyond 4 years, then there is a small provision considering at that point of time what is the condition of the industry, what is the condition of the companies. We can even convert 1 year's installment into equity at that point of time. So, it's a very well thought through reforms package which will make sure that the 5G capex cycle is properly amortized.
If you could explain the equity thing, because there were some reports, and I personally am not very clear on it, which kind of said that will the government take over companies? Just expand on that.
No, the government has absolutely no intent of taking over a company. It's more like a kind of comfort given to the investors that yes, here is a government which is very keen on ensuring that the sector stays healthy. So, for the health of the sector, if something has to be done which is very unconventional, we are even willing to do that. That's the thought process.
I personally completely agree and commend, and I think it has been a great step. You talked about 5G, and I again want to turn to consumer benefit. Explain 5G for the average Indian of what he should expect. What do you think are the timelines? I also have a question on spectrum, but I'll come to that later. Your view on 5G first.
As we progress in technology, two things are happening. First, the speed of data that we get. Second, the volume of data that we can get in a particular service. Of course, there are other factors like what is the latency, which means how quickly a call gets connected. All that stuff is there. Important thing from the consumer's point of view is the world is moving towards a higher level of technological upgradation. We have to be prepared for that, while keeping in mind what is the average consumer paying capacity. Keeping all those things in mind, what we are now doing is, of course, you have seen the structural reforms that we have done include there will be no spectrum user charge for all the future auctions.
Right.
Second, the period for spectrum, the tenure for spectrum has been increased from 20 years to 30 years.
30 years.
So, then there is a flexibility given to the participants that they can surrender spectrum after 10 years by paying a surrender charge. So, all these things have been considered, have been approved by the Union Cabinet after looking at what has been the experience so far, how it will facilitate a great 5G service experience for the customers. Throughout the country, there are people of all income levels.
Absolutely.
We have to ensure that the people who are deprived, who are at the lower level of the society, they should also get affordable services.
Absolutely. Since so much reform has been done, and you would agree that the massive debt that the industry had, a significant component of that came from previous spectrum auctions. Now, I am not pointing fingers. I am just saying that it's a matter of fact, and in fact, there have been some measures that have been already taken to provide some relief there as well in the past. But my question is, how should 5G spectrum be priced? And again, the debate is, should it just be a revenue maximization exercise for the government of India, or should there be a balancing exercise between public interest and the optimal costing or monetization of a scarce national resource?
COVID has clearly shown that telecom services are basically a balance of commercial and public good. It's not something which is absolutely pure commercial. There is an element of public good in it. TRAI is right now examining the pricing that should be made for 5G spectrum. I wouldn't like to comment
Absolutely.
at this point of time, but as and when the recommendations come, we would take a very balanced call.
I have another pet point to ask you, and Atmanirbhar Bharat, one of the very significant things, and you address this, but I just want more details for the people to understand. One of the three components of our import dependencies, apart from gold and crude oil, is telecom imports. We should do more about gold. We can probably do a little more about crude, but we should absolutely do more about telecom imports, because for a country of our size, for such a large market, I don't even want to tell you, obviously you probably know the entire list of items. We import even the simplest items, and I think it's in some ways a shame, if I'm allowed that word. You have said that it will change. Explain to our viewers, how will it change? By when will it change?
Three distinct elements. First element 4G core, second element 5G core, third element all the other equipments which are required to run a network, right? 4G core, this is again, I must say, our Prime Minister's vision, so far ahead of the times. Why can't we develop our own core? Why should we depend upon all the international players for supplying the core network to us? Core is like the brain which runs the entire network. The process started. I wouldn't venture a date, but definitely by first quarter of next year, next financial year, our own homegrown, designed in India, made in India core network would be launched in the country. That is the Prime Minister's target given to us.
That's wonderful news.
Now, moving from 4G to 5G core requires a level of sophistication. So, the entire world is at a level of technology here. We thought that why shouldn't we take a technological leap and go to the next generation itself. What is that next generation? The next generation is virtualization of software entire setup. What does it mean? It means, so if you take this water bottle, in this water bottle, if the hardware is provided by whichever company is providing, then the water also has to be provided by that company.
Absolutely. It's like proprietary.
Now, how do you virtualize it? Virtualization basically means that the hardware and software get de-linked. Hardware can be provided by anybody, any Dell server, any Acer server, any other server can be used, but the software brain is actually running the system that simulates the hardware. So, that is how the entire system has been designed. So, 4G core, 5G core and the associated radio elements, and third element is all the other associated, the routers, the edge routers, the DWDM machines, the entire equipment. We already have a PLI which has been set, production linked incentive scheme, and we are examining very closely which are the sectors, which are the equipments which are actually produced in the country, how to promote them and make sure that they are given the best possible opportunities to compete in the international market. I feel confident. This is 2021 now. By end of 2022, we would be in a very different position as far as our own technology stack is concerned. We will be in a much better situation.
Would you be able to quantify any personal targets that you might have in terms of the value of reduction of imports? How much will our import dependence go down? Is that possible at this stage to talk about it?
At this stage, I think it's difficult but we are definitely targeting a very significant, we are not just targeting import reduction, we are targeting exports.
Absolutely. Yeah. Once we, you are one of the most technocratic ministers that I have met in this beat, as we call it in journalistic parlance. I have to ask you this question. For our average consumer, sir, today people are being told that the cars that they have sought to purchase will take 6 months to be delivered because there is a semiconductor shortage. You are also the electronics and IT minister, and Atmanirbharta is perhaps best exemplified with what is happening on semiconductors. Expand on that, sir, in the limited time that I have with you.
Touched the, so again, I mean, you must admire how Prime Minister Modi ji thinks ahead. Semiconductors are a very strategic, I would say it's as strategic as nuclear weapons. It's as strategic as any other thing in the world, and Modi ji has taken a very clear roadmap how semiconductors can be manufactured in India. Again, very soon this dream will also be realized. I would say I shouldn't be putting a timeline on it at this point of time, but very soon you will be hearing about it.
Very good, and I believe that would be one of the most important. As we wind down this conversation, I just want you to sort of explain once again to our viewers who still suffer call drops, especially in the urban metros. In the rural areas, along some patches of highways, there are signal issues. As we wind down and end this conversation, what would you like to tell them with all the steps that you have taken to restore the health of the investor, which is the industry? What is likely to happen as far as the telecom experience is concerned? Because customer doesn't see 4G, 3G, 5G. He just sees call drop तो नहीं हुआ, bandwidth की speed कितनी है, how fast we can do this and how affordably we can have those conversations.
Absolutely fair question. Until and unless we see proper investments in this sector, we really cannot solve these issues. These issues require investments, and that's why it was very important for the government to come with a reforms package which really help the health of the industry overall, not just one player, two players, three players, but basically the entire sector related issues have to be resolved. So all these steps, the 9 structural reforms and the 5 process reforms, basically aim at one single objective: better service to the customers, better service to the people who are still unconnected, connecting the areas which are still unconnected, and making sure that telecom service remains an affordable and a very good quality service for the entire 135 crore Indians.
Absolutely, such laudable objectives, Ashwini Vaishnav, the minister who is now leading what I call a new deal for telecom, and hopefully a new beginning once again. 5G, semiconductors, the minister dropped several hints, and I hope I am able to come back and talk to you about that. Once again, thank you very much for your time. With that, it's a wrap on this special conversation with Ashwini Vaishnav, the Minister of Communications, Railways, Electronics and Information Technology. If you have been, thank you very much for watching.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Siddharth.
Thank you so